peace, friends and family. Welcome to another conversation. This is Joy, founder of Pink Girl Teaches. For those of you that do not know, I am a certified life coach and I help victims come out of the fog after being in a relationship with a narcissist. And so today I want to have this conversation, which I think is an important one. It was a requested video, and I want to thank the lady, my sister, who went ahead and made the suggestion. And so I think let's dive into it. I'm sharing with you today Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, and I'm using the New and Living Translation because I think it speaks a little better, or it highlights, the gravity and the severity of why we must guard our hearts. It says, guard your heart above all else, meaning that is the primary focus. Like, it is essential, it is crucial that you guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Hope deferred makes the heart sick suddenly just jumped into my mind because of that heart posture, right? Anybody who has been in a relationship with a narcissist has experienced heartbreak. Heartbreak, disappointment, sorrow, grief, regret. And sometimes it's so difficult to comprehend how this is possible. How could somebody that said that they loved me treat me like this? And as you step out of the fog and you begin to transition into the new normal, you struggle with the thought that this wasn't love. I want to remind you that they are disordered, meaning that they're not going back to a state of what you would perceive is normal. They're not going back to who love bombed you. They're not going back to that version of who they pretended to be to you in the beginning when you first met. And that version that pops up every now and then to manipulate you. You see, anytime you're being love bombed, you're being manipulated, you're being controlled. And you're not meeting a real person. That person does not exist. And that's such a difficult thing to wrap our minds around because you go in with your intentions on the table. You don't go in to deceive anybody. You don't go in to hurt anybody. But this is what you encounter. Does that make it that we are perfect people? No. We've all done things that we're not proud of. But when we step into these relationships and these, in these arenas of life, our heart and our intentions are pure. But we can never take away the fact that they are disordered. Now, psychology is going to tell us that it's a mental health disorder, and I agree with that. But that mental health disorder is really a spiritual issue. And until they decide, and I mean the narcissists, decide that they're going to address the spiritual issue first, that disorder is never going to be cured. It's never going to be cured. And so here we are. Today is the 7th of February. In a couple more days, it's going to be National Love Day or Worldwide Love Day. When people want to take one day and use it to celebrate love, it's really a commercial holiday to get you to spend your money and buy things and show affection that you need to be doing for people every day. You need to show love every day. And not just to your special person, because if that is your special person, you must be demonstrating love. Love is an action word, meaning that you demonstrate it, you show it. You don't buy, you don't just romance on a particular day of the year, but it is about your heart's posture. That's why we have to guard our hearts above all else. You see, when you're with a narcissist and Valentine's Day comes along, it's another holiday to them. It's like Christmas. It's just that this now is one where they amp up the shenanigans a lot. So you may find that they reach out to you and offer this epiphany of how they've changed and how much better their lives would be with you and how much they want you back and what they'll do and all of the lies. You have to remember, keep the main thing the main thing. It is going to be nothing but lies, but they're going to lead you down memory lane. And once you're all nostalgic and in your feelings, you may kind of, begin to wonder, well, was it really that bad? Maybe it was just me, maybe this is who they really are. And if I just stick around a little longer, and if I'm patient, and if I go back and I just love them, and I work harder, because all they're doing to you at that moment in time is lying. They're manipulating you. They're playing with your emotions. And then you start to gaslight your reality, telling yourself that it wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. It's even worse than you can imagine, because here they are in the moment where you're trying to move on, and they recognize that you're moving on, that they want to hinder you and pull you backwards. No, we press forward. We don't go backwards. The only thing that we need to look back is say, hey, look how far you've gone. I'm proud of you. Keep going. And that's a conversation for ourselves. They can't do anything different because they're disordered. They're in agreement with the kingdom of darkness. And you've got to decide. And as difficult as it is, because, we deny ourselves the truth because it's so hard to grasp the truth, but the truth will set you free. And we've got to just make up in our mind that, you know what? Yes, there are going to be some good days where I'm going to get through this a lot easier. And then there are going to be those difficult days. And what do? Have a plan, have an idea of what to do when those difficult moments arise. How do you talk to yourself in those moments? What do you say to yourself? What do you listen to? Who do you call? What do you read? How do you shake that? How do you shake those thoughts of them out? How do you interrupt those thoughts? Because you have to. You have to. This is something that you have to actively engage. Remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. All right? I got tongue-tied there. We wrestle. To me, when it says wrestle, that means that there's something going. There's a pulling, there's a pushing, there's a fight that is taking place. And when those ruminating thoughts come back, and those memories and the lies and everything, the feelings, the hurt, the pain, the old thing, the feeling of what you lost nothing. You lost a headache. You lost a liar. You lost a cheater. You lost a manipulator. You lost somebody who was playing you for a fool. You lost being embarrassed. Those are all positive things to lose. What you cannot afford to lose is your sanity, your hope, your peace, your joy, your love, your meaning in life, your purpose to life, your passion, your drive, your focus, your commitment to yourself, your commitment to God. Those are things that are non-negotiable. You can't. And so when your heart is postured on what was, it determines the course of your life. It determines the course of your day. It determines the course of the moments of your day. And it can really pull you down a downward spiral. When the narcissist comes back, a lot of times it's just to see if they could still get that thing back. That's all. It's got nothing to do with caring about you. The only thing that, they care about is themselves. And so if you're checking out their social media, I want to ask you this question. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it when you know that this person didn't mean you any well? And you know that they create these illusions, right? They create these illusions because they want you to think that you're missing out on something. That's why when you see them after a couple of days, after your breakup, and they're posting somebody, it's to do something to you. It's for them to make you feel so terrible, so hurt, so unwanted, so unlovable, that you will pick up the phone, that you will call them and ask them why. You cannot give them that satisfaction, because that's taking the bait. You've got to say that above all, no matter what it costs me, I'm not going to do that. They want you to start typing on social media about how you feel about them, giving them narcissistic supply. Starve that narc. They don't deserve another second of your time. When you understand that this person is here to steal, kill, and destroy your peace, your hope, your focus, your life, you got to fight that thing. You got to wrestle, understanding that you're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. Go back to Ephesians 6 and 10 and read from, read that part and see what it is that you are fighting. and how you now have to put on the whole armor of God, because you have to guard your heart. You have to guard your heart. A lot of truth is, when we look back, right? What it is that we haven't completely gotten over the relationship, and it's not that it's a one step, do this and do that and you're going to get over it. It really is a process, and grieving is something that we need to do. And the grieving process looks different for different people, but you have to allow yourself to go through it. The Bible says, yea, though I walk, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, something dies. And that valley of death is not a comfortable place, because something has died. Your hope died. Your dreams died. Your vision for what would be has died. And a lot of times you're left asking, why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't they choose me? How could they do that to me? I want to say this to you. They will do that to everybody after you. Nobody after you is going to get any different treatment, because it goes back to the fact that they are disordered. They are in bed with the kingdom of darkness. They are going to continue to produce the same type of fruit. And so I'm going to ask you this. While you ask yourself, why did they do that to me? Now that you know who they are, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for you? Because believe it or not, you deserve so much more. You didn't deserve what they did to you, but you deserve so much more. So now what are you going to do to start learning how to guard your heart, to keep your mind off of that narcissist and focus on the things that are above and not beneath? That relationship was beneath you. So now how do you focus on the things that are above? You got to go through that process of grieving. You've got to feel the pain. You can't medicate it. You can't ignore it. You've got to feel it and go through it. And when I say go through it, there are things that you can do during the process of grieving. You find your circle. You find the people that you can open up with, where you know that there is going to be no gaslighting. There is going to be no victim blaming. And they also will allow you to accept responsibility for the things that you did. And that's a difficult one, because we say, oh, I was just trying to love this person. But we miss the red flags. And sometimes we see them and we are aware of them. If you're like me, I heard a straight up no from God. And I thought I could do all things by myself. And look where it got me. And so we've got to also learn how to forgive ourselves. The Bible talks about the necessity of forgiving, and we can be so quick to forgive other people, but you got to forgive yourself. Don't hold yourself hostage to the old version of you, because now you're a new person, you're a new creation, you're a new creature. So you've got to start embracing all of you. All of you. That means forgive yourself for what was. You didn't know, and now you know. And you forgive yourself, even if it's a daily thing, and you talk to yourself. And hear me when I say this, talk to yourself like somebody you love. You have got to love you. You have got to love you more. That when you feel like, listen, I'm missing this thing and I'm romanticizing what was dead, that is a dead situation. Listen, sometimes you got to have a funeral for these things. All those old memories, write them down, burn up that paper, bury it, do what you got to do to put that thing to rest. And start focusing forward on what you have. They are going to make all kinds of attempts to make you feel like you're missing out on something. You can never miss out on anything when a narcissist is involved, because they are there to steal, kill, and destroy. That means it's a whole crime scene. You are missing nothing. But I also want to leave you with this, or I want to leave you with this, should I say, is that when you look in the rear view of the rear view mirror of the relationship, we tend to focus on what was good, but those were lies. Nothing was real. And it's that difficult thing, or just embracing the fact that nothing was real, that keeps us bound and it keeps us stuck. Narcissists use Valentine's Day to triangulate partners. They use Valentine's Day to make you feel like, oh, okay, so I really wasn't that good enough. And she or he must be so much better than me. And that's why they're doing those things, the very things that they promised. Wow, we were together 18 months, 2 years, 20 years, whatever it was. And we didn't get married. And I was always just this. But now they're marrying this one and it's only been 10 days. Like, those are all strategic moves. And they're designed to hurt you. They're designed to hurt you. They're designed to make you feel like you're losing and to keep you from actually moving into what can be for you. Don't you know that greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world? That's why when we have these pains, we got to take it to the feet of Jesus and we got to pour our heart out. And we have to be comfortable crying out and telling him everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Absolutely everything. I don't know if you ever heard me say this, but I've said it before in a few videos. And even on a couple of lives, I was literally just bawling my eyes out on the floor, crying, just defeated and done. I didn't even want to engage in life at all. Nothing. Just leave me alone. Just bury me right here. Let me be in my sorrow. That's where I was. And I was just carrying on. And then I heard that voice that said, tell me how you feel. And I was like, really? You really gonna do this now? Don't you see how I'm feeling? And out my mouth, right? I was running it. And he kept saying, tell me how you feel. And I'm thinking, but God, you know my thoughts while they are afar. So you of all people know how I'm feeling. But he kept pressing. And eventually I decided, okay, just go ahead and, and once I started talking, I just ran my mouth. I couldn't stop. And I just said everything. I let everything out. And then there was just silence. And I'm like, wow, maybe you were imagining that was him. And the moment those thoughts started to come to me, what he said was, I asked you to tell me how you feel because I want you to invite me into those moments because I want to hear it from you. I want to hear your voice and I want to hear your pain because I love you and I care about how you feel. That right there is priceless. And that's why I want you, and I'm going to say this till I don't know, the wheels fall off, to talk to God about what you've been through. Tell him everything. Even when you feel like, you know what, I'm sorry I let you down and I did these things and I got in this relationship that I didn't even check with you and I'm feeling ashamed and I'm feeling disappointed. Tell him absolutely everything. Invite him into your pain. You see, when we don't invite him into our moments, we don't get to experience him in a different way. He says that he's the word tells us that, and I'm just going to be paraphrasing here, that, God waits on us to let him in. Let him into your pain. Let him into your disappointment. Let him into the sorrow. Let him into the grief. Let him into every single thing that you feel. And allow him to begin the process of healing your heart. That was the start of where my relationship really just changed with him, because from there, I got to see him as a father. I got to see him as a comforter. I got to see him as a protector. I got to see him as a teacher, and I got to see him as the lover of my soul. And he taught me how to guard my heart. And so I hope that this encourages you. Listen, you're not missing out on anything with a narcissist, no matter what it feels like. Trust me, I know. I thought I had lost the love of my life. No, that's impossible. The only way I would feel that kind of grief, or, like I really lost the love of my life, is if God took his spirit from me. Then what would I do? I would be devastated. There would be no hope for me. If it's a narcissist, trust me, you're going to come, you will be okay. But hand this pain over to God. Focus on your life going forward. You have the opportunity when you begin to feel like, I can't get this person off of my mind. Ask yourself, what can I be doing to be more productive in this moment? And it's important that you do something in that moment to replace those thoughts so that you let the enemy those familiar spirits, those monitoring spirits know that, listen, I'm not going to play with you. I'm replacing you with something productive. I'm replacing you with praise. I'm replacing you with worship. I'm replacing you with prayer. I'm replacing you with the word. I'm replacing you with my plans for my future. Don't allow those thoughts to pull you in and keep you bound. You have been set free through Jesus Christ. And so now you maintain your deliverance, you maintain your freedom, and continue to trust God for all things. I hope that this is helpful. And it's my sincere hope that you do heal, and that you do begin to walk in the truth and the fullness of who God knows that you are. So family, have a fantastic rest of the day. Fearlessly pursue your most significant state. God bless you.